Horwich stability criteria. So mainly we will focus on the Routh-Horwich stability criteria because that criteria we are going to use in the root locus method. Okay. So we have discussed that how to form the Routh table or Routh array and how we can solve it. And also we discussed that what will happen if the first element of a row is 0 and what if all the elements in the row are 0. So if all the elements in the row are 0, so at that time our system may be marginally stable. If all the elements in the first column are positive, right? At that time only we can say our system is marginally stable. So if any element in the first column is negative and we are getting all the rows are 0, then at that time our system will be unstable. Before going to that, our this necessary but not sufficient condition for stability is that all the coefficients should have same sign and there should not be any missing term. Only after that we can check for stability. So if these two conditions does not satisfy, then we can simply say our system is unstable. So this example is very much important for the root locus method. Okay, so let's go through this example. So we have a open loop transfer function of unity feedback system. Okay, so the feedback, the value of h is 1 here. So the open loop transfer function, or we can say the OLTF, is k divided by s into 1 plus 0.4s into 1 plus 0.25s. Okay, so we have to find the restriction of k, that means the range of the k, so that the closed loop system is absolutely stable. Okay, just like this in previous class also we have solved an example like this one. So this is a open loop transfer function. To check the stability in Routh-Horwich method, first we have to determine the characteristics equation. Okay, so the characteristics equation is 1 plus g of s h of s. So this is our g of s, right? This is our g of s, and the h of s is unity, that is 1. So we can write this 1 plus this g of s into h of s is 1 equal to 0. So this is our characteristics equation. Then we have to solve it. So we will get the final one is this one. S cube plus 6.5 s square plus 10s plus 10k equal to 0. So then we have to form the Routh array. So highest power is s cube, right, of this characteristics equation. So we have to write it in the decreasing order. So s cube, s square, s and s to the power 0. So similarly, the coefficient of s cube is 1, and then we have to skip the next one, and the next one is 10. Similarly, for s square, the coefficient is 6.5, here 6.5, and then there is 10k. So next step is we have to find this value. Okay. Let's say this is our b1. So it will be 6.5 into 10, which is 65, minus 1 into 10k. So minus 10k divided by 6.5. So this will be 0. So no need to write. Okay, if you want you can write 0, but it is okay if you don't write anything. So you can see here below this 10k there is 0. So the next term here will be this 10k. You can directly shift the 10k to here. If you calculate also you will get this 10k. So for our system to be stable, there should not be any sign changes in the first column, right? In this column, there should not be any sign changes. So these two are positive, this 1 and 6.5, but we have to make sure these two terms are positive. The 6.5, 65 minus 10k by 6.5, it should be greater than 0, and this 10k should be greater than 0. So for this, the 10k should be greater than 0, that means k should be greater than 0. And similarly, the 6.5 minus 10k, it should be greater than 0. So we can write from this we can derive that the k should be less than 6.5. Okay, k should be less than 6.5. So hence for our stability for the closed loop system, the range of k will be k should be greater than 0 and less than 6.5. Okay, so clear? We have already discussed the same type of example. Is this one clear? No doubt about the Rauthoridge?
No, sir, no doubt.
Okay, very good. Okay, so then we'll move to the root locus method. Okay, this is very important, the root locus method. Okay, because we'll design the compensator in our third, I think in the third module. Okay, there is a compensator design. We'll do the compensator design using this root locus method. So first you have to understand the root locus. So before going to that, so let's see some basic concept. So pole 0 at infinity. Okay. So the poles at infinity are obtained when the order of the numerator is higher than the order of the denominator, because there will be always a pole or 0 at infinity. Okay. If it is even not mentioned, there will be always either a pole or 0 at infinity. So when there will be a pole at infinity, so a pole at infinity are obtained when the order of the numerator is higher than the order of denominator. If the number of zeros are greater than the number of poles, at that time the poles at infinity are obtained. Okay. So here consider a transfer function g of s with numerator order n and denominator order m. So if n is greater than m, then we have to obtain the poles at infinity. So let's say there will be n infinite 0 because order is n. So n finite zeros and m finite pole because order of the denominator is m. So as s tends to infinity, okay, if you increase or you can increase the value of s to infinity, the m poles will cancel the m number of numerator zeros, right? So there will be n minus m number of zeros left. So therefore, as this gs tends to infinity, there will be n minus m number of poles at infinity. So that means we can say there will be always the number of poles and 0 will be always same. So for in this instant, so suppose that this g of s is s plus a. So we can see it has only 0, right? A 0 at a s equal to minus a. So we can say that there is a pole at s equal to infinity because the number of poles and zeros will be same. So vice versa also we can say that if there are more number of poles and less number of zeros in the transfer function, then we can say there are zeros at infinity. So to summarize, or we can say to justify, we can say, read this line. So if the number of zeros are less than that of poles, right, that is z for 0 and p for pole, if z is less than p, then the value of transfer function becomes 0 for s tends to infinity, right? Suppose there are 2 zeros and 3 poles. So as s tends to infinity, the transfer function value will becomes 0. So we can say that there are zeros at infinity. Okay. Clear this one? Suppose we have this s plus 1 divided by s plus 1 into this s plus 2 divided by, let's say, s plus 3. Okay. So we have 2 zeros and let's say we have less number of zeros as compared to the poles. So we have 1 0 and 2 poles, s plus 2. Okay. So as s tends to infinite, if we put the value s tends to infinite, that means it will be, so we can say this value and this value will be cancelled out, right? The pole and 0 will be cancelled out and we will have left with this 1 by infinite. So it is, this value is undefined, but we consider this as 0, right? So we can see our transfer function is now 0. So that means we can say there are zeros at infinite, because for the value of 0 our system becomes 0. Similarly, for in case of pole, if the number of poles are less than that of 0, at that time the transfer function becomes infinite, right? So for a pole, or we can define our pole as the poles are the value of s for which our system becomes infinite, right? So that means we can say that our poles at infinity. We can say at that time we have poles at infinity, because our transfer function is become infinity, and we know for the value of poles our transfer function becomes infinite. So we can conclude that there will be always same number of poles and 0. So the pole 0 may be either either the pole or 0 may be at the infinite or infinity. So the number of poles and 0 will be always same in a transfer function. So this will be very useful in root locus. Okay, the number of poles and zeros. And this one will be also very much important in root locus method. So it is known as the angle condition and magnitude condition. Okay. So we know the characteristic equation 1 plus g of s h of s equal to 0. So we can write the g of s into h of s equal to minus 1 plus j0. Right. We can write this one from this equation, this g of s into h of s equal to minus 1 plus j0. So if we calculate the phase angle, then we will get the tan inverse of 0 by minus 1. So we will get this value, the 2n plus 1 into pi, or we can say the angle condition is the point at which the angle of the open loop transfer function is an odd multiple of 180 degree, right? The angle condition should satisfy that it should be the odd multiple of 180 degree. And similarly, the magnitude condition, the magnitude of this g of s, h of s should be equal to 1, right? From this equation, we can say the magnitude of this g of s and h of s should be equal to 1, and the angle of this g of s, h of s is odd multiple of 180 degree. So remember this point, the points on the root locus branches satisfy the angle condition, right? So if we have to find a point in a root locus, that it should satisfy this angle condition. So the angle condition is used to know whether the point exists on the root locus or not. Okay. This angle condition, it is used to know whether the point exists on the root locus or not. Similarly, to find the value of k, the system gain, we use the magnitude condition. I'll show you an example here. This example here.
Sir, root locus
root locus details. Okay, so then let's start with this root locus. Okay. So what do you mean by root locus? So root locus is a graphical method in which roots of the characteristic equation are plotted in S-plane for different values of parameter. Okay, clear? So in root locus means we have to plot the root of the characteristic equation for different value of parameter. So normally in root locus, we draw the location of roots of the characteristic equation when the gain is varied from 0 to infinity. So this is called root locus. At this gain k, we will vary the gain k from 0 to infinite, and we will see the change in the location of the roots of this characteristics equation. So for that we have to find the characteristics equation first. Okay. So from this is our g, and this is the h. H is 1 here. So the characteristics equation is 1 plus g of s into h of s equal to 0. So we will get s square plus 2s plus k equal to 0. So this is now our characteristics equation. So we can determine the roots, right? We can determine the roots from here by using this formula also. We know this minus zeta omega n for second order system plus minus omega n root over of zeta square minus 1. Okay, so we have to determine from this equation what is the zeta and what is omega n. So we can see omega n square is k here, right? Omega n square is k. So we can write, so omega n square is k, so omega n is root over of k. Similarly, the 2 zeta omega n is 2, right? Because it is 2 zeta omega n is, so 2 zeta omega n is 2. So we can find the value of zeta will be 1 by root over of k, right? So we have determined the value of omega n and zeta. So simply we have to put here the omega and zeta, then we will get our two roots. Let's say S1 and S2. We will get two roots of the characteristics equation. So the two roots will be this one minus 1 plus root over of 1 minus k, and S2 equal to minus 1 minus root over of 1 minus k. So there will be two roots because this is a second order system. So now in root locus, we vary the value of gain k from 0 to infinite, right? In root locus, we vary the value of gain k from 0 to infinite, and we plot the location of these roots. So first we have to draw the S-plane. Okay, so let me draw here. So this is our S-plane, this is our real axis, and this is the imaginary axis. So first we have to make the value of k equal to 0, because we have to vary the value of gain k from 0 to infinite. So let's take first the value of gain k equal to 0. So in this case, in these roots, in these two roots, if we put the value of k equal to 0, then what will get? What will be the roots? Anyone?
minus 1 minus 1.
How minus 1 minus 1?
Sir, k टा 0 put करेंगे.
Oh,
Sorry sir.
0 and minus 2.
Yes sir.
So we have to plot the poles 0 and minus 2. So this is 0, and let's say this is our minus 2. Okay. So for k equal to 0, we have two roots at 0 and minus 2. Clear? So next we will vary our k to some value. Okay. So let's say we choose our value of k in between 0 to 1. So now our value of k is in between is 0 to 1. Okay. So now what will be the value of S1 and S2? If k is less than 1, we will get some real number, right? If the value of k is less than 1, then we will get some real number. So suppose we are getting here this to be minus 1 plus 0.5. Let's say this value is 0.5 here. Okay. This value is 0.5. 1 root over of 1 minus k is 0.5. So the S1 will be minus 1. It will be minus 0.5. And in this case, S2 will be minus 1.5. Clear? For this equation, if the value of this 1 by minus k is 0.5, let's consider we have taken the value of k such that the root over of 1 minus k is 0.5. So S1 will become, it will be minus 0.5, and this will be minus 1.5. So as we go on increasing the value of k, now our two poles are minus 0.5 and minus 1.5. Okay. So minus 0.5 will be at this point, and minus 1.5 will be at this point. 0.5, and this is minus 1.5. Okay. Clear? So now let's take the value of k equal to 1. right? Because we are increasing the value of k from 0 to infinite. So first we consider 0 and then we plot the root. Then the value of k to be within 0 to 1. We plot the roots here. We got minus 1.5 and minus 0.5. So if we put the value of k equal to 1, so what we will get if we put the value of k equal to 1? What will be the roots?
-1.
कुह किस तो कुह पार्टिसिपेट करो
-1.
-1 only one -1. So value of s1 will be -1 and s2 will be also -1, right? That means we have a repetitive pole. So s1 and s2 will now becomes -1 when k equal to 1. So -1 will be here, right? So we have multiple pole at -1. Clear? So then we have to make the value of k greater than 1. So what will happen if we make the value of k is greater than 1? Any guess?
Imaginary.
Yes, this term will be imaginary, right? So we'll get a complex conjugate pair of pole with the real part with -1, right? Complex conjugate pole with the real part with -1. So the real part is -1 and complex conjugate means we'll get our poles, 2 poles at this point for k is greater than 1. Clear? Up to this clear? Anyone doubt? So as we can see, as we are increasing our value of gain k from 0 to k greater than 1, we can see our location of pole is shifting, right? The location of pole is shifting. And this one is in this direction. Let's say this is S1 and this is S2, 2 roots. So the S1 value is going towards the left and the S2 value is going towards the right as we are increasing the value of gain k. So at this point, when k is equal to 1, right? At this point, k is equal to 1. At this point, the value of k equal to 1, we are getting the S1 and S2 to be -1. And then we go on increasing the value of k equal to k is greater than 1, then we are getting our poles to be here. So we can see here this mapping of the roots is like this one. Clear? Here, okay, I am going to discuss this again. So first we have to draw the real and imaginary axis. So as in root locus, we are increasing the value of gain k from 0 to infinite. So when k equal to 0, the 2 branches of root locus start from 0 and -2, right? When k equal to 0, here we can see there are 2 poles at 0 and -2. And when similarly k is equal to 1, both the roots meet at -1. So for this point, k equal to -1. So when then we'll make k greater than 1, the roots will be at this point. Okay, but the real part will be always 1, right? The real part will be always 1, so it will be go in this direction. So these are, we can see our roots are moving in this direction and another root is moving in this direction. Okay, so these are called as the root locus branches. These are the root locus branches because for different value of gain k, we are plotting the roots and we are connecting the dots, right? So these are the root locus branches. Clear? Root locus means the plot of the roots. Okay, because we are taking the roots here. Similarly, here it is k is taken 0 and then 1. You can also take the value of k equal to 0.1 and you can see that if we take the value of k equal to 0.1, the roots will lie here and 1 root will here. Similarly for 0.2 at this point and at this point. Similarly k for 0.3, 0.5 and at k equal to 1, the roots will lie here. And for k is greater than 1, it will be a complex conjugate pole. For k equal to 2, for k equal to 3, k equal to 4, you can try that. Okay, so this will be like this one. So these are known as the root locus branches. These are known as the root locus branches. The branch in which we are plotting the locus of the roots. Okay. So you can see here, when the value of k equal to 0, our first roots are 0 and minus 2, right? 0 and minus 2. So from here also we can see the roots of the, or we can see the poles of the open loop system is also 0 and minus 2. Clear? This is 0 and minus 2. So for k equal to 0, we have two roots equal to the poles of the open loop transfer function. Clear? This one clear? Next doubt ଅଛି ଯଦି এটা ବୁଝିପାରିବ ତା root locus କିଛି ବୁଝିପାରିବନି. Okay, ତାହେଲେ ସମସ୍ତେ ବୁଝିଗଲ. So here the angle, use of angle condition and magnitude condition. So we know the angle condition is used to find whether a point is lying on the root locus branch or not. Okay. So this s equal to 1, the minus 1, it is a pole, right? S equal to minus 1 is a pole. So will it lie on the root locus or not as we go on increasing the value of k? So that can be found by using the angle condition. And the angle condition says the angle of this g of s, h of s should be the odd multiple of 180 degree. So the value of s is given is minus 1. So at s equal to minus 1, we have to check that this transfer function satisfy the angle condition or not. So we have to put the value of s equal to minus 1 in this transfer function. So k plus j0 divided by s equal to minus 1. So minus 1 plus j0 and s plus 4. So by putting s equal to minus 1, we will get 3 plus j0 and s plus 5. If we put s equal to minus 1, we will get 4 plus j0. So these are the positive term. So the angle will be 0 degree. And for negative term, we will get this 180 degree. So we can see it is minus 180 degree. So we are getting that the angle of the transfer function at s equal to minus 1, we are getting the angle is equal to minus 180 degree. So that means it is satisfying our angle condition, right? It should be odd multiple of 180 degree plus minus 180 degree. So this satisfies the angle condition. So hence we can say the point s equal to minus 1 is on the root locus. And for this example, in this example, if the question is asked that whether the point minus 0.5 will lie on the root locus or not. So from this diagram we can see the minus 0.5 will be here and the branch is this one, right? So we can see from the diagram that this point is the minus 0.5 is lying on the root locus. So without plotting the root locus, by using this angle condition, we can say that that point will lie on the root locus branch or not. Okay. So similarly, we can determine the value of gain k. So this for this 0.5, okay, this 0.5, at that point, what should be the value of k? From this diagram, we can see here at minus 1, right? The point minus 1, we can see the value of gain equal to 1, right? For this transfer function, k by s into s plus 2, the point minus 1 is achieved at when the value of gain k is 1. So similarly, in this case, it is given that what should be the value of gain k at which s equal to minus 1. So this can be found by using the magnitude condition without plotting the root locus. So sorry, this will be plus 1. Okay, this will be plus 1. My mistake. So similarly, we have to put the value of s equal to minus 1. The magnitude of k divided by, in this transfer function, we have to put the value of s equal to minus 1 and we have to take the magnitude. So minus 1, magnitude of minus 1, then minus 1 plus 4 magnitude, and magnitude of minus 1 plus 5 should be equal to 1. It is positive 1, okay, because we are taking magnitude. So from this we can say the value of gain k is 12. So we can say for the value of gain k is 12, we have our root at minus -1, right? Because in root locus we are increasing the value of gain k from 0 to infinite. So for this transfer function, when we make the value of gain k equal to 12, at that time we will get our root at -1. Clear this one, angle and magnitude condition and this root locus. ଏଠି ବୁଝିପାରୁନ ପଚାର ହେଲା ଆଗରେ, ନହେଲେ କମ୍ପେନସେଟର ଡିଜାଇନ କିଛି ବୁଝିପାରିବନି। ଓକେ, ତାହେଲେ ସମସ୍ତେ ବୁଝୁଛନ୍ତି, ଭେରି ଗୁଡ୍। Okay, so then without making this value of gain k equal to 0, k equal to 1, there are some simple rules. Just by following the rules, we can easily plot the root locus. So let's see the rules for construction of root locus. Okay. So the first step is we have to locate the open loop poles and zeros in the S plane. Okay. We are given an open loop transfer function g of s into h of s equal to k by s into s plus 1 into s plus 2. So this is a open loop system. So the first step is that we have to first identify the open loop poles and zeros. So in this case there is no zero, only poles. So there are 3 poles at s equal to 0 and at s equal to -1 and at s equal to -2. So first we have to plot the pole 0 location on the S plane, right? At 0, at -1 and at -2. This is the first step. So then the next step is to determine the root locus on the real axis, right? So which part should be, or which branch should be the root locus branch, we have to decide. And we know from the angle condition that we can, by using the angle condition, we can identify that point is lying on the root locus. Okay, all the path will not lie on the root locus, so we have to use the angle condition to check whether that point is lying on the root locus path or not. Okay, so here, so let's consider a point here p1, okay, a positive number. So this point, because at this point this is a value of s, right? So let's say it is 1. So we have to check that whether the value of s equal to 1 is lying on the root locus or not. Okay, so for that we have to check the angle condition. So s equal to 1 means all we will get positive value, right? The angle of 1, the angle of 2 and angle of value of s equal to 1. So we will get 0, right? For positive value the angle will be 0. That means it is not satisfying our angle condition, because our angle condition should be odd multiple of 180 degree, right? And we are getting a 0 degree for this positive value of the root. So this point or this line will not lie on the root locus from this 0 to this area, okay? Because at this point also it will be a positive number. Okay, so let's see that. So we have 3 poles, okay, 0, -1 and -2. So if we consider any point here on the positive real axis, this positive real axis, so our angles will be always 0 degree if we consider any positive point. So that means this is not static angle condition. That means any point in this path, okay, any point in this positive path will not be a part of our root locus here, because it is not satisfying our angle condition. So any positive point will not be in our root locus path. So let's see another one. We are taking a negative point P2 between 0 to 1. Okay. So let's say we are taking -0.5. This point -0.5. So the value of s will be now -0.5. So that means we are getting -0.5 plus j0. So at that time the angle will be 180 degree, and for minus 0.5 this is a positive number, and this is also a positive will be 0. So now all the angles will be, the summation of all the angles will be minus 180 degree. So we can see here our angle condition is here, our angle condition is satisfied. So that means any point between this 0 to 1, any point between this 0 to 1 will lie on the root locus. Clear? So 0.7 ne ki try karibo, we will get minus 180 degree, minus 180 degree, or 0.9 will also get minus 180 degree. So that means any point between this 0 to minus 1 will be our root locus branch. Okay, clear? So similarly, let's take a value or a point between minus 1 and minus 2. So let's say minus 1.5. Okay, let's say this point P3 is minus 1.5. So minus 1.5, 180 degree, and similarly minus 1.5 plus 1, it will be also 180 degree. But this point 0.5 plus 2 will be 0.5, a positive number, so we will get 0 degree. So the summation of angle will be, this is my 180, and this is 0. So we are getting 360 degree. So that means this is not a this is not a odd multiple of 180 degree, right? It is a even multiple of 180 degree. So that means it is this point is not satisfying our angle condition. That means this point will not be on our root locus. So that means this point, any point between this minus 1 and 2 will not be in our root locus. Clear? So similarly, we will take another point after minus 2. It will take a point anywhere after minus 2. So at that time, this will satisfy our angle condition. Okay, we will get odd multiple of 180 degree. You can calculate, we will get odd multiple of 180 degree. So that means this point, any point after minus 2 will lie on the root locus axis, or we can say this will be our root locus branch after minus 2. And similarly between this minus 1 and 0. So there is a simple method also to check or to know whether that this point will lie on the root locus or not. Okay, suppose we have let's say there is a 0 here, okay, and there is a pole here, or let's say we have another 0 here. Okay, so we have 3 poles and 2 zeros. So we have to check whether that this which path lies on the root locus. So we have to see that, suppose we are considering this point, okay, any point after this 0, any point after this 0. So we have to see the right hand rule. There is a right hand rule. So if as we are considering this 0 and after that point, so we have to see, so the point towards the right, okay, to this right side, we have to see if there is odd multiple of pole or 0, summation of pole and 0, then that point will lie on the root locus. Odd number of pole and 0. Okay, the summation of pole and 0 should be odd number to the right of that point. To the right of that point. Okay, so after this 0, towards the right, we can see there is no poles and 0. So this point will not lie on our root locus. Any point after this 0 will not lie on the root locus. Okay, so next step is we have to check whether this point, any point between this one, okay, this 0 to this origin to 0. So we can see any point, if we consider any point, so towards its right there is a 0, right? So that means we can say that is a odd number. So this region or this path will be in our root locus. Similarly, this path So this path will be on root locus or not? Anyone? From this 0 to -1, will this path be on our root locus or not? No one.
सर से जीरो पार्ट टे आउट कहबे माने सेटा सेई जगहटा काहे के रहबो लूट लोकस रे 0 ରୁ 1
Here one तमे सुनो this is our 0. Okay, this is 1, this is -1, this is -2, and this is -3. Okay, so we have to check whether which path will be on our root locus. So we have to use this right side formula. Okay, so if we consider this 0, okay, this 0, then towards its right there should be odd number of poles and 0, right? Towards its right there should be odd numbers of poles and 0. So towards its right we can see that there is no poles and 0. Okay, there is no poles and 0, so that is not an odd number. So this region will not lie on the root locus. So we can say this path will not lie on the root locus. Similarly, if we consider any point between this 0 to 1, any point, okay, any point, then to suppose this point, okay, so to this point towards its right, what are the number of poles and zeros? We have only 1 0. Okay, so that is a odd number, right? That is a odd number because we have only 1 0 to the right. So it is an odd number, so that means this path or any point between this 0 to 1 will be on our root locus. Okay. Similarly, for this one, this 0 to -1, if we consider any point, so towards its right, what are the number of poles and zeros? There is 1 pole and 1 0. So there are 2 pole 0, right? So there are 2 pole 0. So it is a even number. So edge of any point between this 0 and -1, it has 2, or we can say odd number of pole 0. That means this path will not lie on the root locus. Clear? Because we are increasing the value of k from 0 to infinite. So by without increasing the value of k to 0 to infinite, how we can plot the root locus? So we have to check that whether which point will lie on the root locus or not. So similarly, if we consider any point between this -1 and -2, any point between this -1 and -2, so this point will not be on our root locus. This path will not be on our root locus. Similarly, for this -1 and between -1 and -2, this -1 and -2
सर रहबो
because it has 3 number of poles and 0, right? Towards its right, and तीनटा अच्छी pole 0 जोटा कि odd number. So this path will be on our root locus. Similarly, এই পাঁচটা হবনি, এই পাঁচটা হবনি because এপটে চারটা আছে. Similarly, যদি हम এই পাথ দেখিবা দেন এঠু हमर root locus আসিব because towards any point 1 2 3 4 sorry 6টা গেল কোন ভুল করি 1 2 3 4 okay this point 1 2 3 4 5 okay odd number ଅଛି. So this point will or this path will be on our root locus here. So you don't have to use the angle condition to identify that whether this point will lie on the root locus or not. You have to use this method. Okay, towards the right there should be odd number of pole and 0. Right here, in this case here we can see this region, this red line. Towards its right side we have only 1 pole, so this path will be on our root locus. Similarly, this point towards its right we have 2 poles, even number of poles, so this will not be on our root locus. Similarly, any point after this one, we have 3 poles. So, odd number of poles, so this path will be on our root locus. Or we can say the root locus will exist at this path. Okay, clear? This one clear?
Yes, sir.
Pachari bhala bujhi na parle, no problem. Because this is very much important, root locus is. So the next step is determine the asymptotes of the root loci. Okay. So, so we have to find the angle of asymptotes. So angle of asymptote psi is given as plus minus 180 2k plus 1 divided by n minus m. Okay. So k will be from 0 to up to 1, 2, 3, 4 up to n. And this n is number of poles and m is number of zeros. You can write p minus z also to simplify, so that p is pole and z is 0. Okay. So the angle of asymptote is calculated as this psi is this by this formula plus minus 180 into 2k plus 1 divided by number of pole minus number of. So let's consider this transfer function, the previous transfer function. We have this open loop transfer function g of s h of s equal to k by s into s plus 1 into s plus 2. So in this case we have no zeros, only 3 poles. Okay. So the angle of asymptote will be plus minus 180 2k plus 1 divided by 3 minus 0, because we have only 3 poles and no 0. So it will be 3 minus 0. So when k equal to 0, this is plus minus 60. When k equal to 1, it is plus minus 180. And for k equal to 2, it is plus minus 300. K equal to 3, it is plus minus 480. So we can see this angle. So we can take the positive only, okay, because if we go on increasing the value of k, it will come in circle. So only take the positive value. So let's say the psi is plus minus 60. So let's say 60 degree, 180 and 320. So 420 means it will be 60 degree, right? 360 plus 60 is 420. So we have to do that again. So below 360, just calculate the angle. So we have 60, 180 and 300. So then next point is the centroid. The centroid of the asymptotes. From where these asymptotes will start. So for this we have a formula. The centroid sigma is summation of poles minus summation of zeros by number of pole minus number of zero. So in this case we have 3 poles, 0, minus 1 and minus 2. The summation of poles is 0, minus 1, minus 2, then minus summation of 0. Then divided by number of pole minus number of 0. So we are getting our centroid to be minus 1. Okay. So let's see what is the significance of the centroid and asymptotes. So we have the centroid at minus 1. Right. At minus 1, we have to draw a point here. At minus 1, we have to draw a point here. So we have 3 poles at 0, minus 1 and minus 2. So we have our centroid at a minus 1. Okay. So we have to mark that point. So this is our minus 1. And then we have the angle of asymptote at 60, 180 and 300. So from this point, this centroid, we have to draw those angles. So 60 degree will be approximately this one. 60 degree will be this one. This will be 180 and 300 will be this one. Similarly, 420 will be this one, right? This angle. This is 60, 180 and this is 300. So we have drawn the angle, this asymptotes from the centroid. Clear? So next step is we have to determine the breakaway point, right? So breakaway point means in this earlier example, in this case, let's see. So these roots are moving towards the same direction, right? They are moving towards the same direction. So at k equal to 1, they meet at -1, right? At that point, we have the value of pole, both the roots are -1. So at -1, both the roots meet here. So after that, they diverge in different direction. So that point where they move in different direction, this point is known as breakaway point. Because at this point, the root locus breaks away from each other, right? So at this point is known as breakaway point. So the breakaway point corresponds to a point in the S plane where multiple roots of the characteristics equation occurs, right? The breakaway point, remember, breakaway point will be always in between two poles. दीटा पोल मझिरे ही ब्रेकअवे पॉइंट आसीबो हला पोल आउ जीरो थिले ब्रेकअवे पॉइंट आसीबो नाही रिमेंबर दैट दीटा पोल मझिरे ही ब्रेकअवे पॉइंट आसीबो so it is the point from which the root locus branches leaves real axis and enter the complex plane. Clear? Like in this example, the root locus, it leaves the real axis and enters the complex plane, right? So at this, after this point, so this is our breakaway point. Similarly, break-in point. The break-in point will occur between two consecutive zero. The theta consecutive zero achi, then there will be break-in point. So theta consecutive pole mojire asiba amara breakaway point. Okay. So how can you determine the breakaway point or break-in point? So to determine this breakaway or break-in point, we have to make this equation. dk by ds should be equal to 0, and we have to calculate the value of s. It should be noted that not all the solutions of dk by ds equal to 0 correspond to the actual breakaway or break-in point, because if a point at which dk by ds equal to 0 is on the root locus, it is our breakaway or break-in point, right? यदि से जो point आम बाहर करिबा से point lie करुथिया दरकार हमरो root locus branch रे, only after that हमरो सेटा breakaway की break-in point हबो, right? For just okay, suppose we calculated our breakaway point to be -0.5 and -1.2. Okay, so we have to second order system. Suppose we are getting two breakaway point -0.5 and -1.2. So -0.5 will be our breakaway point because -0.5 is lying on the root locus, right? This red line -0.5 will lie here, so that will be our breakaway point. So -1.2, it will not be our breakaway point because it is not lying on the root locus. Clear? We'll see in the example. Just remember this. I don't think I can go to any example here. Okay. Okay. So this example, the same transfer function. So we have given this g of s, h of s equal to k by s into s plus 1 into s plus 2. So we have to make dk by ds will be equal to 0, right? So for that we have to find the value of k in terms of s because we are going to use the derivative with respect to s. So from the characteristics equation, 1 plus k by s into s plus 1 into s plus 2 equal to 0. So we can find that value of k is equal to minus s into s plus 1 into s plus 2. And so from this characteristics equation, we have to find the value of k. Clear? So now we have to do the dk by ds. So minus d by ds of the value of k is this one. So we will get the dk by ds equal to this 3s square plus 6s plus 2, or you can say minus 3s square minus 6s plus 2. So we have to make the dk by ds equal to 0 to determine the breakaway point. So here we can see to make 0. So we are getting the value of s, two value of s. So one is minus 0.4226 and one is minus 1.55774. So we can see here we are getting two breakaway point, right? So we have to check that which one will be our breakaway point, or both will be our breakaway point. So in this diagram we can see we have 2 points, right? The minus 0.44. So the minus 0.4 is lying on our root locus branch, so that will be the breakaway point. This point, right? S equal to minus 0.4226. So this point, this black one is our S. So this will be the breakaway point. And minus 1.5, that point is not lying on our root locus. So that will not be our breakaway point. Similarly, there is an example here. You can do the breakaway point. So the next step is to our class अछि ना. Okay, so तमे एति पढो हैला कि करो जदि बुझि न पारिबो मते पचारिबो काली हम तो आउथर कथा मु कहि देबी शॉर्टकट रे हैला. There are many more rules, or 3 or 4 rules are there you have to follow for construction of root locus. Okay, so just go through this PDF. And if you have any doubt, we will discuss again tomorrow. On the next class.